Welcome to They Tried to Bury Us. My name is Tamer Kattan. I'll be your host. I'm a comedian, a writer, and an actor. I was born in Egypt and moved to America when I was just a kid, so I'm very proud of being an immigrant. And ever since I started doing comedy, I've met more and more immigrants, and I have found more and more amazing stories, and that's what this podcast is all about. Each week, I'm going to have a new guest. They're going to sit down and share with us their American origin stories, and we're going to get to know each other better, and we're going to find out that we're all just the same. So tune in each week, tell every single person you know, and thanks for listening. Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of They Tried to Bury Us. I'm Tamer Kattan, and with me as always is my co-host.
Chiquita.
Hi Mom.
Hi, how are you
Welcome
today?
to season 2.
Oh, I'm so proud of that. Time fly.
Time does fly.
Unbelievable, yeah.
Yeah, it is a weird thing. Time flies. Isn't that
Yes,
weird when
yeah.
people say that? It's a weird
I
thing.
don't like it. I like to enjoy life as long as I can.
Yeah, I think that's a good attitude. I think
Yeah.
that's why older people wake up so early.
But
So
I
that
wake
their
up
days
so early.
feel longer.
Yeah, I
right?
wake up, I wake up 4 o'clock. But
You wake up 4 o'clock in the morning?
every day,
Like an ice road trucker?
believe it or not, without even alarm.
You wake up at 4 a.m. without an alarm every
Alarm,
day.
because
I don't know if are you getting enough sleep?
Yeah.
Okay.
Touch wood, okay? Because all the people, they can't sleep at night. But I'm good. I think because I exercise, I walk,
Yeah,
I
you're a
work,
pretty fit
and all
person.
that.
Yeah.
So that's helped me to relax at night and sleep.
Did we ever
well.
tell the story on this podcast of the half marathon that we did together?
Oh my God, we said
When
we,
I drank the night before and was hungover and
don't embarrass yourself.
Oh,
You
well,
did
thank
it,
you.
and
Don't
that's it.
embarrass yourself,
Yeah.
is what my mom just said to me. That's
Yeah.
my favorite thing.
Yeah. But you did it.
Wouldn't
You
that be a great
finished it.
T-shirt? Don't embarrass
Yeah,
yourself.
but you finish it, okay?
Well, Mom, I am really excited and a little bit stunned, to be honest, that this is our first guest from Ireland.
Wow.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it because I have so many Irish friends and I have such a connection to Ireland. And I'm literally performing on August 1st at the Laughter Lounge in Dublin. And so it's like, I can't believe this is my first Irish guest, but I'm very happy that it is my good friend, M Pyne.
Hello. How are you? hello.
That is the most Irish I've
Yeah.
ever heard you sound.
I only sound like that when I go home because if I sounded anything other than completely Irish, they'd beat it out of me if I sounded like
Yeah.
a big Yank.
Yeah,
Yeah.
isn't that funny how when you
Yeah.
visit back
Oh, God,
home,
yeah.
they give you grief?
I've actually got more Irish since I moved to LA.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, and do you think, why more Irish since you got to LA? Because people back home give you shit if you...
Well, yeah, because I lived in London before that and I worked in broadcasting, so my accent was just a little bit sort of West Brit is
Yeah.
what they call that. And, and I was well spoken because I had to be understood.
Yeah.
And then I came out here and actually I think the American inflections and the Irish inflections are quite similar because, there's so much of the Irish accent in the American accent,
Sure.
because of all the immigrants and stuff. And, we built America, let's face it.
That's true.
I like that. I like that.
That's true.
So yeah, the inflections, it's sort of, I think it's there already. So, and then, you come out and I'm a blue-eyed blonde, not a natural blonde, but anyway, nobody needs to know that. But, I think the one thing that sets me apart is my Irish accent. So I kind of unconsciously got more Irish coming out to LA.
That's
And,
cool.
yeah, and I
You know,
kind of like it, I must say.
I think that's good. You're an artist, and
Yeah.
why wouldn't you want to be something that made you more unique in an
Exactly.
environment like LA?
Exactly.
It happened to me when I was in Sweden. My Swedish got so good that people started thinking I was a refugee
Oh, wow.
instead of an American. And my Swedish friends are like, "You fool!" I'm like, no, you got to make your accent less good.
You must have really stood out, though, because everyone is like quite blonde and blue-eyed
Oh
and
yeah,
fair
I
skin,
absolutely. I was dating way above my weight class. Like
They're
I was
all so
literally dating
beautiful.
Swedish models.
God, everyone is like you get off the plane in
Yeah.
like Scandinavia and you think you're looking good, and then you just look around you,
Oh, it's a joke.
and everybody is a supermodel.
Yeah, but it
And the men.
distorts it. It's
does.
actually flipped upside down. Where I felt like a can of Coors Light. Where in America I'm $2, but in Europe I'm 11. Like, I was like, all of a sudden a can of Coors Light is exotic in Sweden, but it's not. It's not in like Pasadena.
Yeah, $2 Chuck.
$2 Chuck. Isn't that the greatest name for a wine? $2 Chuck.
It's awful though. Ugh, I'm
Well-
way too old to drink cheap wine now.
Well, I'm so happy to have you on the podcast for
delighted
lots
to
of
be
different
here.
reasons. I've known you for a while now. I think we met through a mutual friend
yeah.
of a British fashion designer,
Julie Clancy. Yeah.
Julia Clancy, who's a brilliant
Oh,
fashion
she's
designer.
amazing.
Yeah,
She's doing really well. She's in Harrods. Her stuff's in Harrods right
in
now.
Harrods
Yeah.
now. Wow, and look at that, an
Yeah,
Egyptian
an Egyptian
connection
store.
now.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
look at that. Yeah.
Wow, that's really cool. Good
Yeah,
for
she's
her.
doing so well. She's great. She's so talented.
Yeah, she's extremely talented and a crazy
I have
person.
so many talented friends. Crazy talented friends. And
Yeah.
talented crazy friends.
Yeah, so it's cool that we met. We met kind of a double connection through fashion industry and comedy. And then I've performed with you a bunch in comedy. We know each other through a writers community, and then also through shows that you put on at some really cool venues like the H Club, which is like a creative club in Los Angeles. Kind of like along the lines of Soho House, but it's kept its creative roots.
Yeah.
The way Soho House has kind of lost it. So I'm really stoked to have you on because I feel like of all the women, okay, let me backtrack and say this. I have a really interesting, I think maybe different than most guys in terms of like the type of women I'm really attracted to romantically and also on a friendship basis. I grew up like late 80s, early 90s punk rock scene. And at the time, there was an extremely high number of female-led punk rock bands.
Oh, yeah.
Like the Runaways,
Yeah.
Pat Benatar,
Yeah.
Blondie, like so many,
Love
like
'em.
Bikini Kill, so many female-led punk rock bands. And then my mom, obviously for people who listen to the podcast, I think between my mom and all these female-led punk rock bands, I was really, really attracted to strong and feminine at the same time.
I agree.
Right, and I think that you remind me of that, Mom. Like
Yes,
you're not
I
in a
agree.
creepy way, but I think women that I'm friends with remind me of my mom. Like I can't be friends with people that are like too weak or too soft. I can be nice to them, they can be acquaintances, but I don't get in deeper conversations with them.
That makes so much sense.
Right, it
really
makes
does.
sense.
Yeah.
I think that's why
'Cause
you
the
and I
women-
became friends.
Yeah,
because I think of
totally.
you that way.
Thank you very much. That's
Yeah,
such a
you're a
compliment.
tough broad.
Yeah, I am. But a lot of Irish women are like this, and it's funny when you take the Irish broad out of Ireland, it frightens the shit out of loads of men. Like it really does.
Yeah.
And Irish men are like, "Oh, I love it when she shouts. Oh God, I love it when she's angry. She reminds me of my mother and my two sisters."
Yeah.
But you know, you do that in America, and they're not used to that. And what really struck me coming out here first was, you know, you go to a barbecue or a party, all the men go outside and all the women are in the kitchen. I'm like, what? We never.
Yeah, that's
everyone,
crazy.
We're all integrated wherever we are, and you're talking to somebody else's husband or they're talking to somebody else's wife or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the European way of doing things. But
Yeah,
here it's
I like mix.
yeah,
I don't like.
totally.
I don't. You know what though? I'll disagree with you slightly. I
Why?
don't think
Come
that's
on.
the European way. I think there's two kinds of countries in Europe.
Okay.
I think there's pub cultures,
Yes.
and in pub culture, because it's slightly more male, the women become able to hold their own with men.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But in nightclub culture, it's female dominated. And I think the men are the ones who go to the female side.
Nightclubs where? Like, because
Like Spain.
Spain, Ibiza.
Spain.
You've been to Ibiza?
Yeah, I've been to Ibiza.
And London, yeah, because I haven't been
Yeah.
to a club since, God, such a long time.
I know, me too.
Apart from comedy
But I
clubs,
think
but-
pub culture,
Yeah.
that's why I've always loved British women, women from the UK, and women from cultures where there's a big pub culture.
The Dutch as well.
Dutch,
Big pub-
exactly.
Yeah.
So I think there's a difference in Europe between male-dominated and female-dominated culture, and I get along with the women who are in a male-dominated culture because they actually become a little bit strong, you know, a little bit more. They're less shy to show their masculine side. Or I don't
Yeah.
even want to call it masculine.
They're
that's
just strong.
sexist to call it masculine just
that
because
is
it's strong.
No, they're just strong, and you know they're independent, and
Yeah.
they don't sort of subscribe to the female ideal, which I
Yeah.
think women kind of have to do here. You know, it's way more backward in Europe. I feel Europe is much more progressive in its thinking, and that's kind of. I mean, it's less of a capitalist culture. You know, Britain and Ireland is sort of more of a socialist culture. You know, and here's what I think is the problem: there's no healthcare here, and if you had healthcare, it changes everything. It changes the way men see women and women see men. It changes the way people date.
Why do you think that?
Well,
Why?
because
Yeah.
you can't have a baby unless you have a man, because women can't afford to be single mothers. I could go home this minute. I've got frozen eggs. I could become a single mother. I'd be provided for. I can have my baby for free in
Wow.
either Ireland or the UK. And, you know, I can work, I can still get some kind of benefits.
Wow, that's so interesting.
And
I've
I can
never
raise
thought
my
about
family.
that.
Whereas here, you have to find a man who's a provider. You have to.
So, but
you are hardwired to find a provider,
Yeah.
because if you ever have children, and even if you don't, you need a provider for men, because people, you know, I think healthcare is the main problem in America. Change that, it changes everything.
and
I
it
agree
makes women reliant
100%.
on men.
It does.
100%.
It makes women reliant on a partner.
Yeah, and therefore, and men are all worried about, oh, she's a gold digging bitch. Or she's, you know, they're all worried about gold diggers because they have to provide. Because if you're going to have kids
Yeah.
with her, and that's the problem with this culture.
Wow. It's so funny. I'm so glad you said that. You're absolutely right. That
Yeah.
totally makes
It would
sense.
change everything. It would
I've
change
never
the
understood
dating
that.
culture. Yeah.
And when people say, "Oh, free healthcare," free what? What's free?
Yeah.
I've been getting taxed since I had my first job at KB Toy Store.
Exactly. And then, well, this is the thing with the national health at home or in the UK. You know, you pay a little contribution into this out of your salary or you know whatever in your taxes.
Yeah.
Every single month, and that provides for. Now, you also have the option to go private if you can afford that. But if you can't afford that, I mean, I had 2 friends who just had breast cancer. Can you imagine? Women in their
Wow.
40s went home. We're living out here. Went home
Yeah.
to the UK because they knew they could get cancer health care for free
Yeah.
in the UK. Like here, that would have run into hundreds of thousands.
Same. I have a good friend from Finland, and his wife became sick, and they flew to Finland. So how can we keep calling America number one and saying we're the greatest when
It's
people
not.
are leaving us
Yeah,
to
it's
get
not.
health
It's
care?
really not.
It's not.
It's,
Like
you know,
that's this is a big problem.
The PR machine is the TV and film. The film
Yeah,
industry,
that's
you
right.
see, it's kind of polluted the world with this idealistic view of America. So
Yeah.
everybody around the world that sees American film thinks, oh my God, that's what it's like. And, you know, when you arrive here first, it kind of is like that,
Yeah.
but it's not. It's like that if you come here on vacation. But it's a different,
And
I don't
you
want
want-
to be negative, but it's different.
No,
when
you're
you-
not being
when you
negative.
live
at
here.
all.
No,
And
no,
see,
no,
this
no.
is what drives me crazy. I'll tell you an honest feeling that I got inside my stomach when I said, "How can America call itself the greatest country?" There was a twinge in me because I love this country so
love
much,
it too.
and it made me feel like, "Oh, is that un-American? Am I not being patriotic?" That's bullshit. It's bullshit.
Yes.
I am patriotic. I am American. There's absolutely nothing wrong with complaining. Complaining is actually probably the most American thing you can do.
True.
It drives me crazy that we're programmed, and even I'm programmed this way to where if I say something negative about America, I hear this voice in my head going, "Oh, is that un-American?"
Where did
That's
that
a joke.
programming, where did that come from? Is that like,
Rambo movies. I think it does in a way. It comes from this culture, the political game where there's this push and pull, tug of war on our emotions, where they tell you, "Oh, if you complain, that's not American. If you do this, that's not American." That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is
If
ridiculous.
you're a dad that sees your kid doing something wrong but doesn't teach your kid, you're a bad dad.
Yeah, totally.
Or a bad parent.
exactly.
And so if you're a citizen and you see your country doing something wrong, and you just say, "Oh, my country's great," what kind of a kid is that kid?
Absolutely, yeah. I
That
agree.
doesn't get disciplined or doesn't get
Yeah.
someone who course corrects them. It's a shitty kid.
And what kind of an American would you be if you didn't want the best for the American people?
100%.
And that's all that is. Yeah.
100%. If you want us to, you told us that we have to be brave to be here. You told us that we have to work hard to be here. You told us that we have to be bold to be here. Then don't get mad at us when we do all those
Yeah,
things
yeah.
and complain.
And a good nation, you need to have healthy people around
Yes.
too.
And healthy
You can.
communication, yeah.
Yes.
And the old people need to be looked after. I mean,
Oh.
they always
Yeah.
say this is not the country to get old or sick in. And,
Yeah.
you know, and I worry for myself. I mean, I'm really healthy right now, but, you know, if I'm going to stay here all of my life,
yeah.
I might just move to Ibiza, maybe.
I know what you mean.
I'll
Yeah.
just move back to Europe when I get old. Live in my parents' house. It'll turn into the Grey Gardens.
You know what happened in Ibiza? I know a lot of people when they think of Ibiza, they think, "Oh, party island and all this stuff." But there's two sides to the island,
Yeah, there
literally
is.
two
There
sides.
is. There really is.
There's Ibiza where the nightclubs are, and then there's San Antonio where the sun sets. And my first night in Ibiza, I remember being in San Antonio and watching the sunset and thinking, "Oh, this is a party island." But something happened when the sun set. All the Spaniards on the beach started to clap.
It's beautiful. The
It's a
energy changes.
beautiful tradition.
Were you there at the Cafe Del Mar and the music?
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's spiritual.
It is
isn't
spiritual. And it was, but the idea of an entire beach of people standing up and clapping when the sun set gave me the opposite lesson that I thought I was going to get from being there. All this time I heard it was a party island. Instead, a bunch of people applauded the sunset.
Wow.
And it made me go, yeah, why don't ever take even a sunset for granted.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
It was really nice. And it made me think, like, it also felt very European. That in America, we move so fast sometimes that we don't stop and smell the roses, that we don't stop and appreciate the sunsets.
Because you kind of have to. That's
Yeah.
the game with capitalism. You got to get on that treadmill and you got to keep running. You got to keep running faster because somebody's running faster. Somebody's
Yeah.
running faster. Quick, keep up. You're going to miss out. You're going to miss out. That's capitalism, you
Yeah.
know? And that's kind of sad.
So
especially
what
as
made
get older.
you jump on this treadmill? You were in Ireland, but were working in London.
No, I was living. Well, I left Ireland when I was about 18, but I was living in London for 16 years, and I'd done the Edinburgh Fringe in 2007 and 2008.
Fringe.
Oh my God, it was
Wow.
the best. 2007 was the best month of my life.
Amazing.
Oh my God, it was amazing, and I felt like I'd found my people.
Yeah.
And I was part of a sketch comedy group, and I had just started doing stand up. And
Oh, for people that don't know, by the way,
Mm-hmm.
because we have a lot of non-comedy listeners, the Edinburgh Fringe is a month-long comedy festival in Edinburgh, Scotland, and the size of the city triples in
oh my
population.
God, just the whole city.
The
has a
whole
festival.
city,
It's
and
amazing.
it's a lot of different things. It's comedy, it's theater,
So
but
much
it
theater.
really is stand-up that dominates.
Yeah.
That and for a month you're free of your day job and responsibilities. You're just in this city, surrounded with a bunch of other comedians. You eat, drink, sleep comedy.
Yeah.
And what I love is they say the set you go with is not the one you come home with.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The set that you start out
Yeah,
with?
because you
Oh.
come home with so much new material.
Oh.
Like I did 136 sets in 1 month.
Wow, did you?
I was doing 6 to
my
8 shows a day.
God.
Because a lot of people don't have a whole new hour, so they do showcase shows, and then they're always looking for comics to come in and do 15-minute set here, 15-minute set there.
Really?
So
you just kind of went on ad hoc? You
Yeah.
just kind of...
yeah, well, no,
Wow.
I had my show every night,
Oh, you did?
but then during the day, I had my whole day free. So then a bunch of people in London,
Yeah,
who
yeah.
knew me and whatever, were putting me in their shows, and I was doing. So, anyways, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I wanted to give people an
No.
idea of
Yeah.
how special this festival
it's
is. It's
so
a really
amazing.
unique. There's nothing like it in North
Oh, no,
America.
there really
Not
isn't.
even JFL.
It's been going since 1947.
Wow.
It's probably one of the oldest festivals in the world for
Yeah.
theatre and comedy.
You spend the whole months there.
I did
Tamer.
too, yeah,
The
yeah.
whole
Yeah.
months,
So
yeah.
the run is like you do about 25 shows or something if you're doing the whole run, but it's,
Yeah.
it's so amazing. And I was in a sketch group with Barry Ferns, who now runs the Bill Murray in
Oh
London.
wow! Yeah, I'm gonna do some shows with him in
Oh,
August.
he's amazing.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, no,
by
of
the way.
course, he's amazing.
Yeah.
Barry's so cool. Have you been to the Bill Murray? You have.
I haven't been
It's
to
a
it
great
yet.
venue, and everyone's been there. Like
I've
everyone's
heard great
been on stage.
things.
It's fantastic. So yeah, we were, and I was at that stage. I was, this was 2007, and I'm like, oh my God, if I can make this work in a career, like in any way at all, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And at the time I was working in TV production in London. I was working, I think I was an associate producer or researcher for some TV show. I was doing documentaries and reality TV. And I came back to London and I still continued with my job, but then I started doing more stand-up. And the sad thing is, I don't know if it's a sad thing, but I then decided I wanted to come to LA because I wanted to, I was going to the Lee Strasberg Institute to study acting full
Oh,
time.
amazing.
So that was in 2009. It was amazing. But I quit stand-up at that point. I came out here in 2009. I thought I'll quit stand-up and sort of pursue the straight acting
Yeah, Lee
thing.
Strasberg's pretty intense. It's-
Yeah. But I quit stand-up for about 8 years and I took it up again 2 years ago.
No way! I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there was a big gap.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can't regret anything, but
Sure.
I think God, if I'd stuck with if I'd kept doing stand-up, I'd be like 12 years in now.
Yeah, but it's still acting is still in the world of storytelling.
Yeah, it is.
There's lots of equity that you can
Oh,
take
yeah.
from acting and pull into
Oh
your
yeah,
comedy.
yeah, for sure. And look, I was doing a lot, but I just didn't do stand-up. And then, ironically, I sort of got back into stand-up because there were less jobs. Once you're over the age of 35, which I am, 6 months over the age of 35. Why are you
You
laughing?
still there.
36 and a half. Once you're over, you have to sort of create more work for yourself. And I think
Sure.
as I got older, I kind of cared less about subscribing to what people thought I should be.
Yeah.
And so sort of when I hit 40, I thought, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to get on stage and say what I like.
Yeah, good woman.
And I think that happens for a lot of women. Like there's a lot of when older women, I don't want to say older women, but women in their 40s and 50s, you know, taking up stand-up now, and it's great.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
and
not
also,
old. It's just the start.
Exactly.
Okay?
Yeah,
yeah,
life
no,
begins.
you're a bottle
You
of wine.
begin,
Don't
yeah.
let a bottle of grape juice make you think you're
Yeah.
worth less than they are.
Absolutely. No, you're right. I love that.
And here's the thing too. I mean, here's the interesting thing about comedy. It's almost like comedy speaks two languages. There's there's comedy business, and then there's comedy the art. And sometimes the comedy business says things that doesn't make sense to the art of comedy. Like when they say, "Oh, you're at a certain age, so now for the comedy business, we don't need you." Oh, really? Well, that makes me even more unique in the world of comedy art.
Yeah.
It makes my voice even more special, even more unique. It makes my audience feel even more underrepresented.
Absolutely.
We don't need those gatekeepers
Yeah,
anymore.
we don't. We really don't.
These non-artists,
Yeah.
gatekeeping
Yeah.
artists.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
No, because, well, you can do everything yourself now with the
Exactly.
internet. You know, you really don't. People are getting, you know, recognized through YouTube and podcasts and everything else. You don't need that kind of, the stuff that we needed even 10, 15 years ago, we don't need anymore.
100%. It really is like people who make grape juice stopping a bottle of wine and going, "This doesn't taste right." It's like, you dummy.
It's so true.
You don't even know. You don't even know what being buzzed is. I'm gonna get you buzzed with these jokes, son.
God, I love a good
Ask
wine.
Mama.
So that's a big moment, and it's really, you know, I mean, I know a lot of people have talked about finding their voice in comedy or finding their purpose in comedy.
Do you
But
mind if I take off my top now?
No, go.
Sorry,
You can
I'm
take
taking
off your
my top
top.
now.
Yeah.
This is a podcast.
You can take everything too.
It's a little bit hot in here.
You know, it's funny. At
Getting
one
hot
time,
in
I used to
here.
live with 3 girls.
So take off all-
Mom, you remember Annette when I lived
Of
with
course,
Annette in
she's
Long
my
Beach?
favorite.
And whenever I was hanging out with all girls, I lived with 3 girls. And then one time, one of my friends came over and I go, "Hey, bro, I like your top." And he just goes, "What?" And I'm like, "Oh, no, I said a lady word."
top, yeah.
And he's like, "You like my top?" I'm like, "Dude,
Nice top.
I'm sorry."
Nice top.
But that's great. So you had this kind of a milestone moment, and it's so great that you were baptized at the Fringe in a way
I
to
was
go,
totally
"I want to be an
baptized.
artist."
But it's funny, isn't it, how that happens? It's kind of like beginner's luck. Like I came out here and I was probably in LA a couple of months and I had an agent like immediately.
Wow.
And he was actually a pretty good agent. And then about a couple of months later, I was like, he's not getting me as much work as I want. I'm not getting as many auditions as I want.
Yeah.
So I actually fired him and then took another agent who turned out to be rubbish. That's
Yeah.
a word we use at home.
I know rubbish.
You know
Yeah.
rubbish.
I
if you
love
spend time in
rubbish.
London.
Yeah.
And then the agency the second agency I signed with disbanded probably about 6 months later. And then I was left agentless for quite a long time.
Wow,
You know?
yeah.
And the other thing that happened to me was I got this movie straight away. I'd only been in the Lee Strasberg Institute probably 2 or 3 months. And I get this movie and I get paid, you know, $400 a day, which is actually quite a lot, you know, considering I wasn't even SAG at that stage.
Sure.
And then the movie never came out.
Oh,
It's like,
it's such a heartbreaking business.
well, sometimes you don't want the movie to come out.
Sure,
if
fair
You know,
enough.
if it's a few years later, you think, wasn't
Yeah.
sure if I did the best job. Let's hope nobody
You know what I
sees
heard
that.
David Spade say that was such interesting language? He goes, "The entertainment industry is emotionally violent."
It is.
And that made such sense. When he said that word, I was like, "Oh, it's true."
Isn't it funny?
It is such, I don't think people can really understand it until they're like years in.
Yeah.
The amount of rejection and how it wears on you.
And it's a strange dichotomy because you have to develop a really thick skin, but at the same time, you have to have all your emotions available for
Yeah.
the work that we do, you know? So it's like, oh, how do I be this vulnerable, emotionally available artist and still have a thick skin and go, oh, another rejection, whatever, fuck that, you know, like water off a duck's back, let it go over my head, and then, you know,
Yeah.
come back. And it's hard sometimes.
You know what it's done to me that was really upsetting? Is I noticed this in myself. The negative, I mean, the rejection happens, and some, especially now that I'm acting so much more, you know, sometimes you're just not who they're looking for.
That's it.
It's not
never
even. It
personal.
has nothing to do
It's
with even
never
your
personal.
acting chops.
You're
It's
absolutely
just
right.
you know
Yeah.
you just might not be
Yeah,
the right person.
totally.
And I think after getting so much rejection, there were points in my stand-up where someone would come up to me and give me the biggest compliment, like, "I've never seen a comic like you," or this or that about comedy, and my joy, I would limit my joy.
Wow.
I'd be like, "Thank you," but I wouldn't.
Oh, that's good.
I
'cause
wouldn't
you
get
don't,
too
yeah,
high
you-
because I didn't want to fall too low.
You're
So
not
I wanna
taking it on, and
Yeah.
that's the thing. Don't take on. Don't wear the compliments.
Yeah.
and then you won't wear the rejection.
You don't want
as
to
well.
take too many of both sides. And I
think
know what
that's
you're going to
right.
say,
Yeah,
Mom.
yeah.
You're going to
Be
say that that's
careful.
what my dad did.
Yes. Be
Oh.
careful, please.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Well, no, you're right. It's a good thing to stay aware of. I think
Yeah.
it's something that we naturally do as artists, like try to
Yeah.
push back.
But maybe your dad take it to extreme.
Well, yeah, you
Yeah.
took it a little bit more
Yeah.
extreme
So
than I
be
did.
careful.
Okay.
I'm
So
glad
this,
you know.
this makes you, I got to give you a compliment. Like,
thank you.
immigrating is hard enough. Immigrating to a country to take on probably one of the riskiest careers
I know.
is extra brave.
I can't say I was naive. I don't know what I was. I was just excited.
Yeah. It's good when the excitement eclipses the fear.
Yeah, and I think in LA when you first arrive, that excitement fuels you for about 2 years. And here's the thing: it does though. It really,
2 years.
You're in the
It lasts
honeymoon
2
period.
years,
I think
yeah.
it lasts 2 years in LA.
Yeah.
And a lot of people go home, and here's the deal with LA: you either quit and go home, or you stay, and eventually you make your way.
Yeah.
Eventually, that's just what happens.
I agree.
I
It's a
agree.
marathon. It's not a
Yeah.
sprint.
Yeah. So if
I
you can
agree.
find, and here as artists, what we have to do, which I think stand-up comedy is really good for, because if you're just acting, you're reliant on somebody else to give
Yeah,
you a
that's
call
true.
and give you a job. But we can create, we can perform in the
Yeah.
downtime when somebody else isn't giving us a job, and that's great because that's what it's about as an artist. It's about the downtime. How can I make myself happy on a day-to-day basis? How can I create? How can I fulfill my soul's purpose on a day-to-day basis when somebody else is not giving me a job?
Sure.
So you take up stand-up.
So let me, have you always been like this? Because you seem so focused. You know what you want to do now. Were you that focused before you got into comedy, or is this a newly earned focus?
Was I? I've always been pretty driven, pretty focused, but
Where'd that come from? Is this in Ireland?
Maybe, yeah. I'd say my friends would always say would say that I was always driven and focused. I will say this though, the focus was, the energy was erratic in my 20s and early 30s.
Like you almost didn't know which way to point it.
Yeah, and I suffered a lot from, I still suffer terribly from stage fright. Do you? Like
Sometimes, yeah. I mean,
some-
there's times, I don't know if I call it stage fright anymore. Like, just from all the reps, but
Yeah.
I still care. I care a lot.
yeah.
So sometimes I want to make sure I have the best performance I can.
Yeah.
I don't ever worry I'm going to have a terrible performance. I know it's going to be good.
Yeah, you're
but,
good.
But
you're
I
good,
want it to
so
be
you know
every
you're-
time I get up, I want it to be better than the last.
Yeah.
So I think it's self-created. It's almost like there's good fat and bad fat. This is good stress instead of bad stress.
Yeah. So I think that, I've always been driven and focused, but sometimes at different points in my life, I've let self-doubt creep in, and that's kind of like a
Sure.
a
Yeah. That's
festering
hard for all
fungus,
of us. Yeah.
that will stifle you. It will handicap you.
So
really.
doubt is an interesting thing. You touched on it. When you decided to come to America, and I'd imagine already pretty successful in your career before comedy, and now you decide to get into comedy, and you're leaving a place where it's a pretty great comedy community. So they were looking at. Did people look at you and start going, "What are you doing, Emma?"
Yeah. Oh yeah. What the fuck are you doing? You're foolish. Why don't you stay here?
Yeah, this is a great scene.
And you know what? And for acting and everything else, literally as soon as I moved to LA, Game of Thrones started filming. Loads of my friends that had never worked in acting, never done anything in their life, were suddenly in Game of Thrones.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and Louisa O'Milan and Josh Widdicombe were in my class when we started
In
out.
Strasbourg?
No, in London. We both did a stand-up comedy class together, or all of us did a stand-up comedy class together.
And
yeah.
now you're watching them on TV in
I know.
America, and you're like,
Yeah,
"What the hell did I come all
yeah,
the way over here
yeah.
for?"
So I came after the American dream, and they stayed at home and actually got the
Got
American
it.
dream.
Amazing.
But it's funny. You can't ever say what if. You really can't. Had I stayed in London, I might be going, oh God, I wish I'd gone to LA.
Yeah.
I wish I wouldn't
Yeah.
go now because I'm too old. I'll never leave. Oh God, I'm stuck in London. So you can't. You just have
You
to
can,
say.
but you don't.
No, I don't.
I think that's
Yeah,
great.
you
That's
can't.
awesome.
You can't.
Yeah.
You have to follow your
Your
dream,
intuition, yeah.
intuition, and whatever you feel, you should
Can I
do
ask
it.
you a weird question?
Ask me.
And I mean this seriously.
Yeah.
There's been times in my childhood where your intuition freaked me out.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was almost like magic.
Mm-hmm.
And people say these things are like women's intuition is almost like a sixth sense or something
Mm-hmm.
like that. Do you think that's true? Do you feel like, are there decisions that, I'm asking this to both of you, like, are there decisions that you make sometimes that aren't in your head that are just like, this is just like, my body is telling me to do this, or something is driving me?
Yeah.
like an intuition
Yeah, with
driven
me,
decision?
yeah.
Really?
I always follow my heart.
Hmm.
And if I have something not right, I feel it before any, if I feel it with my heart, I don't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You've said things to me when I was a kid that freaked me out.
yeah. And I still do. Sometimes I tell you, my heart say,
Yeah.
this is gonna be okay.
Yeah, it makes me very uncomfortable.
No, no, but trust
Because then
me.
because you know why it makes me uncomfortable?
Yeah.
Because whenever you say that, I respect your intuition so much that I feel like I've lost my ability to make a decision.
No, you
Mom
no.
said my heart said this, and I'm like, now
No.
I have to do that.
No, I never say what is it, but just I say, my heart says something good coming, or I feel something good coming.
Yeah.
I don't know. But when I make my own decision, I follow my heart.
Yeah, I think women have
And
have
if
that
you're
too in a way
strong
that men don't
women,
have.
you do it.
Yeah, I agree with you.
If you're weak, you keep back and forth, you're not sure,
Yeah.
But if you're strong, you follow your heart.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that's great. And
Yeah.
so it feels like you must have.
Yeah, I think I think we've all got this intuitive sense,
Yeah.
but women are more connected to it.
Yes.
We seem to be more the feminine energy, the feminine power is more about the stuff that you can't see, and
Yeah.
the connecting to the greater. I don't know, the higher power, whatever.
Yeah.
That seems to be more what the feminine energy is about, where masculine energy is more sort of in the brain, thinking more, the intellectualized things. So men make decisions through logic, whereas women make far more heart-centered decisions.
100%.
And
Yeah.
that's it. And a man will weigh up, oh, well, what about this? And you might even run the figures in your head. Well, if I do this, will I make that? Da, da, da.
Yeah.
Whereas women will just go, what does my heart want? What does my gut want? And we might even meditate and put our hand
Yeah.
on our gut.
I
and
agree
see.
with you 100%. You're very good. She's very good.
But everybody can do that. You could do it too. It's just a matter of tapping into it. Do you meditate, Tamer?
Yeah, I do.
so
I've been
you-
doing TM for like the
Oh,
last
have
2
you?
years.
Oh my
yeah.
God, I do TM as well.
I'm a
yeah.
huge fan.
Yeah.
It changed my life.
So
Yeah.
therefore, you're already more tapped in than most guys are. But I think meditation is key to tapping into quieting
Yeah.
the mind and just tapping into your higher power. And
Do you wanna hear
getting
something
answers. Oh
crazy?
my God,
Yeah,
of
I
course.
want to hear it.
This is the craziest thing. So the other day I was really really busy and I wanted to do some writing for comedy and I'm like, and I always had as an only child too, and especially because I was a latchkey kid, I always have sound on. Even when I lived alone in an apartment, I always have the TV on, even if I wasn't watching
Right.
TV.
Me too.
And then I noticed, like, when I was meditating, silence was something that I wasn't used to. And I started having that 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes in the evening, especially when I started doing it twice a day. I really noticed it. Silence makes me so much more creative. And I think the reason why women are so much more intuitive than men is because men don't shut the fuck
You're
up.
right. Oh my God, you're right.
Men don't shut up.
My boyfriend has the TV on constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have the TV on constantly.
Yeah.
We need information going
Yeah,
into
yeah.
us constantly. I think mansplaining is us not being able to say I don't know, because after we say I don't know, there's silence.
Yeah, and so most men fall asleep with the TV on. That's
Yeah.
what men do.
Yeah.
I can't have any
I
sound
think
in the
we're
room.
so uncomfortable with silence because it means if it's silent, it means no one's in control. Everybody's hands off the steering wheel. I think we're control freaks. If you're talking, you're not
So
listening.
interesting.
And intuition at the end of the day is a form of listening.
Yeah.
Men are shitty listeners, and women are great at it. Like even being in relationships with women, for me, it's as if I'm playing soccer with a Brazilian.
Wow.
Because I'm just learning to deal with my emotions as an adult, like Americans learning to play soccer as adults, where Brazilians learn to play soccer when they could walk.
Yeah.
Like
They
women
do.
can handle emotions with so much more dexterity
Yeah.
than men can. We're so clumsy. We keep
my
touching
God.
it with our hands, and women are like, no hands.
So true.
Well, it's nice to hear that,
so
Tim.
true. It's so true.
Very
but
nice.
being a creative man, you're a step ahead of the game. You are.
It's so weird how often I get guys challenging my masculinity when I say stuff like that. It's so, I've gotten so many guys asking, "Oh, are you gay?"
Really?
Oh
when
my
when I've said anything in support of women over Twitter. Like there was a female comic who said men are stupid, and then one of my guy friends was like, "Dude, you know what? I just think I don't like that. It's so negative. Like I'm trying to be on their side, I'm trying to be on the side of feminism, and then they say men are stupid. What's up with that? I don't like her." And I go, "Dude, listen, if stuff is happening in the news that makes it feel like things are going backwards, and women have been disrespected for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
If a female comic says men are stupid, I'm going to give her a pass.
Hashtag not all men are stupid.
And not all
Yeah.
men are, but even if
Yeah.
it's an emotional response to a thing, fine.
Yeah.
It's how she feels.
Yeah.
Why are you taking it so
Yeah.
personally? Like
Yeah.
you're the mayor of man.
Yeah.
You're not the mayor of us. You're not the, like, why are you, why does
Hey,
it bother you so much?
Maybe because he is stupid and he knows that.
Yeah, probably.
Probably.
Well, I called him stupid after.
Oh, well.
I go, by the way, you're being stupid.
But also, you cannot take everything personal.
No,
I just don't know
you
why
can't.
people take it like it's a tribal thing.
Yeah.
Like if a woman says men are stupid, why do you take it as if she's on team A and now
Yeah.
you're team B
Yeah.
and now you have to retaliate? She's just telling you how she feels, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at that point, you should be imagining what it's like to be in her shoes and going, oh, it makes sense that she feels that way. Instead, you're going, I'm a man, I'm the target of her anger. And I'm like, no, dude.
No.
Yeah.
She's a human being telling you a human experience. And instead of imagining what it's like to be her, you imagine what it was like to be her opposition.
Yeah.
That's not, that's being a shitty listener.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
also, you know, from the point of view of comedy, like she's up there on stage, she's not talking about all men. I'm sure she's got, you know,
She's telling
brothers
her
and her father.
truth.
She's telling her, you know, it's not all men,
Yeah.
but for the point from the joke, it's all men. But that's
Yeah.
fine.
And it's like it's her. It's almost like watching a stripper. That's her
Yes,
body.
exactly,
That's her
it
truth.
is.
Nobody heckles strippers.
Exactly.
Nobody goes, "Hey, your boob offends me." Like, then why are you
Exactly.
here?
And also, here's the thing. Jim Jeffries said this once. You know, this is not always what I think. It's what I think is funny.
Exactly.
Like, thank you.
Yeah, it's
this
what I
is
wanna
not
say.
always what I. It's just what I happen to think is funny right now.
Yeah, and
but
it's
I
what I
reserve the
feel
right
right
to
now.
change that in 6 months or a year or
100%.
tomorrow or whenever.
Yeah, 100% agree. So you get here now. You're in America. You've made this big leap. You've gone through the insecurities, the doubts. And here's the thing that really bothers me with these kinds of big decisions for artists is that sometimes the people that are closest to you that we allow in our friend zone say the most painful things. So the things that affect our confidence the most, you know, because they're inside our inner circle. So you've gone through all this stuff. You've gotten over the hurdle. You're here now alone in this country and trying to make it in the biz. What was the most challenging time for you?
I mean, there's been a few challenges. I think initially making friends was really challenging because I'd come from London, and as you talk about the pub culture, you'd go take an acting class or a comedy class.
Yeah.
Everybody would spill out onto the streets together,
So much
and
easier
everyone
to
go
make
to the
friends,
would go
yeah.
to the pub. 2 drinks in, now you've just got 12 friends.
Yeah.
And now you've got somebody to do something with at the weekend and somebody
So
to do.
true.
And I just, oh my God, I was so excited. I couldn't wait to meet my friends. So I drove to my first acting class and the class finished. It was a sitcom class at Scott Sedita's and the class finished. I went into the bathroom and I thought, oh, maybe everyone wants to go and get coffee. And everybody was gone.
Yeah.
I'm like, where is everybody? Because everyone gets into a car, so they
Exactly.
get into their bubble and they drive to their next thing, get out of their bubble, and it keeps you so alienated.
100%.
And I think people in LA, particularly the immigrants, which let's face it, is all of us, are really lonely because of that. Because in London and in New York, you're in such close proximity to people all the time because you're walking down the street
Yeah.
and you're on the subway, you know, and everybody's there. Whereas here, you're getting into your bubble. Like even, you know, I came up on the freeway. Most of it is just one person in one
Yeah,
car.
that's
Like
true.
hundreds and thousands of people are driving on that freeway, just one person, nobody's car
Yeah.
sharing.
One
you know?
person in a vehicle
Yeah,
made for
yeah.
5.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or 6 or 7 or
Yeah.
10, you know?
Yeah.
But so I think making friends was really difficult, and, you know, trying to sort of find my people. And I think that probably took a few years. I had a few false starts with the friendship thing. But, you know, then I...
What do you mean false starts?
Well, just like, oh my God, I think I found some women. These
Yeah.
are going to be great. And then it all sort of peters out, or they live so far away that you never get to see them again. Because
Yeah.
like I didn't realize that if somebody lives in Venice or Long Beach, you're never going to see them again ever, like ever.
It's
Yeah.
I
so
mean, seriously, I had this
So-
one friend. I probably saw her. Oh my God, she's going to be my best friend. But she lived like in Venice, and it doesn't seem like so far away when you're living in Silver Lake as I was. But
Sure.
suddenly you realize we're never going to see each other.
Yeah, because it is. It commute wears you down.
Yeah.
It makes you physically tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's true. I mean, I remember in London making so many friends and so many fast friends. Like to this day, when I go back to London, within weeks, there's not a single club I walk into in London where I don't immediately see somebody that I know well enough to give a hug.
That's awesome. That's
But
so
in
nice.
LA, even though I'm from here and I started comedy here and I live here now, That happens all the time.
Yeah.
I saw a guy at Haha Cafe over the weekend that I haven't seen in 2 years. And he's been here this whole time.
And he's been doing comedy for
He's been
those
doing
2
comedy
years.
the whole time.
Wow.
We just haven't.
Yeah.
I've only been back a year.
Right.
But we
Yeah.
still, in that whole last year, we didn't see each because there's so many clubs and there's so many
yeah.
distances. He was living in the Valley, which is even farther. I was living in Venice.
Yeah.
So it's one of those crazy things. So loneliness is
Yeah.
something that not every immigrant can understand. Like you came with a family.
Yeah.
But loneliness is a trippy
Yeah,
thing. And
yeah,
I think
it is.
America's a really
Yeah.
lonely place sometimes.
Oh, it is, because there's so many single people in cities rattling around, and
Yeah.
the strange thing is that everybody has a dog in LA because they're starved of human contact.
Yeah.
You want to cuddle your dog, but really you want to cuddle another human. And I
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
I think you're
we
right.
all
I
just
agree.
need hugs. We all just
I
need
agree.
to touch each other. Well, there was actually some woman. She set up a business. It was a hugging business. I read about this.
Get
I
outta
swear to
here.
God. So you could actually pay for hugs because.
Oh my
so
God.
She's basically a prostitute, but there's no sex. So basically, you just
Oh my
you just
God.
hug. You just lie there in bed and you hug.
Oh, in bed?
Oh,
Yeah,
in a
or
bed.
on a sofa or whatever. Like, but you pay for your, full body hug or your, your just
No
your arm hug.
way.
Or, yeah.
Oh
So
my
she made a
God.
menu.
I think it's great. What
That's
a great idea.
crazy.
Clothes on, of course.
It's sad,
Yeah,
though.
it's
It's
sad.
sad.
But that's what people really need. And, so
Yeah.
many diseases, I think, and things that go wrong with humans are just as a result of loneliness,
Yeah.
We're so starved of human contact. We need to just touch each other.
You're
And
100% right.
it's and so much of our culture, not the culture here, the culture I was raised in, certainly in Ireland. Jesus, we didn't start hugging until I went to art college. Nobody in the family hugged. It was get off me. Oh
Really?
yeah. They couldn't do that. Like so I would come home and jump on them. And,
Yeah.
Don't touch me. It's really hard for Irish fathers, particularly to hug. My father's got used to it now, but it was hard for a while. But yeah, so it's and just I think a lot of cultures. I don't know how you were raised, but a lot of cultures around the world, physical touch is like
Very important.
Yeah, it's so
Very
important, but it's like
important.
people don't do
People
it
don't
enough.
do it, yeah.
It's not kind of in. I mean, maybe now because of the way people parent, everyone hugs their kids and stuff, and maybe kids hug each other.
And it's a product. Sometimes it's a product of what's happening
It
in the
might
macro
be.
environment.
It
Like
might
in
be.
America,
Yeah.
during the Cold War, and when we were talking about potentially going to war with
Yeah.
Russia, the American government sent newsletters in everybody's mailbox saying, "Don't hug your kids too much.
oh my
Wow.
God.
We could be
Oh
in a
my
war
God.
with a tough, cold people, and so don't.
Yeah.
If you hug your kids too much, you'll
They'll be
spoil
soft
them.
and
They'll be soft.
Yeah,
We
that's
want.
it.
Isn't
that's
that
exactly
crazy?
what happened? And with the Catholic culture in Ireland, too much love was seen as it was vanity, which was obviously a sin. You
Yeah.
were giving the child a big head.
Wow,
It's terrible, isn't it? When you
it
think
really
about
is
it.
terrible. Yeah,
That's opposite me. I can't. Opposite me. I
Ah.
love and hug.
I
and
know you gotta hug.
Yeah,
You gotta
yeah,
hug.
I can't.
yeah.
Even at work, for me, when somebody come play golf,
She's like the mom of the
I
golf course.
just touch. Some people they say I'm a big boy. I said I know you're big boy, but I need to correct this for you so you can go out and you look great.
Oh, you fix like a shirt collar or something
like
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Or they buy a short and they have the ticket inside and he can get the ticket from the short. I said, let me do it for you. I'm like a mama. He said, oh, okay. But after I do it, they love it.
Oh,
It's a
that's so
nice
great.
thing. You want to hear
Yeah.
something weird that
Yeah.
I've had a couple times where somebody tried to get my attention, and my initial reaction is like, ugh, what?
Yeah.
And then the person said something really nice,
Yeah.
and then I felt like shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
You feel
funny,
bad.
like we're such I think it's something for artists to be aware
Yeah,
of too.
yeah.
Because a lot of times nobody ever says, "Oh, my friend who's a doctor is such a flake." No, he's not. He's busy. He's a doctor.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
she's a doctor. But with artists, a lot of times we get accused of being flakes.
Mm-hmm.
We're not flakes. We're just maybe it's not as respected culturally as being a physician, but the amount of schooling and the amount
God.
of the craft,
Yeah,
the
the
amount
work.
of time, it's
Yeah.
so much work
Yeah,
and
yeah.
dedication. And a lot but people go, "Oh, well, Tamer flaked, Emma flaked." We're not flaking, we're just driven. But I think it is important for us to remember that this is a marathon and you can't sprint through a marathon.
Yeah.
It takes time.
Yeah.
And we have to remember to keep our humanity.
Yes.
Oh, that's so important.
You
Yes,
know
that's what
what?
we're writing about.
The hug or kiss or touch give you energy.
Yeah, it
Give
does.
you energy.
It does.
In
Well,
fact,
only if it's from someone you want to hug you.
There's-
Yeah, 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 of course.
It's been proven, I think, that a hug that lasts 9 seconds or more will actually alter the chemistry
Yeah.
of your brain. So that's all you need. You know, a
Yes.
hug for 9 seconds changes people's lives.
Right.
It's true.
Maybe
Yeah.
I need
Yeah.
to start a side business on hugging. I'm going to write that down.
You know
Hugging
what's
side
funny?
business.
In Franklin Village, I saw a sign for a guy who's a people walker.
Oh,
Talk
that's
about
lovely.
loneliness.
Isn't that lovely to
So
walk
he's
old
like,
people?
I will go for a walk with you. A 1 hour walk is $25. A
Oh my
2 hour
God, I
walk
love
Wow.
is $40. So
That's
just it's a walk
amazing.
and talk.
What research though? Is he also a stand-up comedian?
Right. I don't know if he's a stand-up, but it is right outside of UCB.
That's brilliant.
But it's crazy. Like we are becoming really lonely. I think TV is the thing that started
Yeah,
it.
it is.
TV
Well, because we don't talk to each other. We sit on the
Yeah.
couch and we don't have to connect even with our partners. We just
Yeah.
sit there and watch the box.
I think millennials are changing it.
Yeah,
like
they are.
everything is community based with millennials.
are.
You know, like I mean, even social media. It's all my friends with me all the time. But even now, it's all community based workouts now with things like ClassPass, where those classes, even CrossFit, that's a community based workout. Boxing classes are really popular. Community based workout. People hanging out at Starbucks. Community based. So just like when a dog is sick, it craves eating grass.
Yeah.
I think society is correcting itself.
You're so true. And they
you
don't
know?
see gender as much as we were raised with.
Yeah,
You know, so
I
they don't.
agree.
They don't really.
I agree. Well, it shouldn't belong to one
shouldn't,
thing or the other.
no.
Why is blue for boys and pink for
I
girls?
know.
Like it doesn't make sense. I'm all about. I love being a man. I love my masculinity, but I don't. If somebody's more feminine than me, I'm not going to judge them. Or if there's a woman who wants to do something that feels strong, I'm not gonna be like, oh, that's a masculine woman. That sucks.
No,
It sucks.
yeah.
Like we're only here for such a short
Oh,
time.
for sure. And there's room for everybody.
Yeah.
Yes.
All tastes.
Especially with
great,
love.
This is a great transition. We're only here for such a short time, so we should. God damn it, we should have a blast.
Yes.
So speaking of happy times and driving towards happy times, what's been your best? How long have you been here all together now?
It's going to be 10 years in July.
Your anniversary's
and I've not
coming up.
aged a day. Look at that. I've actually got younger. I know we're on it.
You look
can't
great.
see me right now. But
And you've recently you got engaged.
Oh, yeah, I did. I got engaged.
It's a beautiful
yeah.
engagement
Thank
ring.
you. It's lovely, isn't it?
It is
Yeah,
lovely.
thank
And your fiance is a sweetheart. He's a really
He's
nice
lovely.
guy.
Yeah, you've met him. He is
I've met him at
lovely.
a couple comedy shows, and I
very sweet.
love that every time I meet somebody who is a partner of a comedian, I always say thank you for your service.
Oh, no, really. He supports. He laughs at the jokes. He's heard it
great.
1,000 times, and he comes to nearly all of my gigs. So yeah, he's
That's
very
awesome.
good.
This is
So
awesome.
He's
Go,
very good.
Yeah.
So in 10 years, and how
He'll be
cool that
listening.
your
Hi,
10-year
babe.
anniversary is coming up.
Yeah, yeah. That and yeah, it'll be 10 years. The 21st of July. That was
Wow.
2009. That was when I
That's really great. Well, happy early
Thank you very
anniversary.
much. Thank you.
And speaking of it, how does it feel? Like, you know what we just did? We just had our end of season 1, and it was episode 35, and we kind of did a recap of like how it felt, how season 1 felt. So as you're coming up on your 10-year anniversary, have you kind of gone back and said and looked back at your time over the last 10 years and thought, what would I do differently? What's been great?
Yeah, I'm like, God, have I been going in circles? Like, what have I done? No. Here's the thing about LA: you don't feel the seasons, and it really alters time when
Yeah, I
you
think
don't
you're
feel
right.
the seasons because you kind of log, your brain logs time. Oh, summer, you know. What comes after summer? Fall, Christmas, you know what, and
Yeah.
spring, you know, and so like I could log the years in London that I was there. So the Christmas I was with this guy, or that Christmas I went home, or whatever.
Yeah.
It's you know, the Christmas you spend in LA. It's like, oh, Christmas sunny, and you know you can't, you know, you go back trying to find Christmases where it was cold, and
Yeah.
there are none. So I think I can't believe I've even been here 10 years. Time
does
has
fly by,
flown.
yeah.
Well,
the older we get, the faster it goes
that
because
too,
of
but-
relativity.
But you kind of
yeah.
go into a sort of vortex in LA
Yeah.
with the whole seasons thing. So it's like, have I been here 20 years? Have I been here 10 years? Have I been here 6 months? I don't know. It all feels
I
like
think
the
you're
same.
right. I think when you just said that, it made me think that there is one negative thing about the phrase "the pursuit of happiness." I've always thought of it as a good thing, but there is one negative thing.
Pursuit.
It makes time go too fast, because if you're pursuing happiness and you're focused on happiness, that means you're focused on the future.
Yeah,
you're
and you're
enjoying
not in
the
the
present.
now. Yeah,
You're
yeah.
not in the now.
Yeah.
And I like the pursuit of happiness directionally, but I don't like it prescriptively. Directionally, I will keep pursuing my happiness, but I want to make sure that through meditation that I'm enjoying the right now too.
God, it's so
so
important.
important.
Be in the now. And, you know, for anyone that can learn that when they're young, because it took me so long to
Yeah.
get that, to be present, to be in the now. You know, it's just so important. And know that you're enough. For fuck's sake.
Yeah, it's hard.
You are enough. You're perfect. You're perfect now exactly as you are. You're not too fat. You're not too thin. You're not too short. You're not too old. Now you're perfect.
You're your own CEO.
Yeah.
If you could design your body, do whatever you want. It's outside. It's sometimes outside voices, man. There's no need. There's just no need.
Yeah, and I think you subscribe to those a lot more when you're younger.
Yeah.
Like as you get older, you're like, shut up.
So you're trying to find your identity.
Yeah,
You're trying to
you
find
are.
your place in the world.
Yeah.
But once you do, it's such a relief.
Yeah, God.
Like, I don't know why that store is called Forever 21. That sounds like a nightmare. Oh, I'm going to shit my pants for the rest of my life. No, thank you. Forever 45, I'll take that all day.
Yeah, I will too, actually.
All day.
Yeah, yeah. Who exactly? Forever 45, and everyone wants to have sex with a 45-year-old woman. Come on,
There
you're
you
the
go.
best.
But you know, my experience,
Yeah.
you should enjoy day by day, whatever you still
Whatever
young,
age, I agree.
Never age. It's the only number
It's
you
true.
enjoy
Yeah.
day by day.
It's mindset.
Yes. Yes.
That's great. So is now your happiest time, do you think?
Yeah.
Or what were you
I'm in a
saying?
really good place. I think I am in a really good place in my life now. Just the good, as we were just talking about, the good things about getting older. I'm in a place of self-love. I know I'm enough. All the work, all the meditation, all that stuff that I'm doing on myself, great.
Yeah.
But I think the first time I arrived in LA, 2000, was amazing. So I'd come out on vacation from London for a month. This guy I was seeing had just had a baby with someone else.
Oh my
Oh my
God.
God.
Shock, horror. So,
That's how
yeah.
you found out he was cheating on you?
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's like, I got somebody else
It's a
pregnant.
very complicated situation.
Oh my God.
And
Bastard.
and so he kind of breaks up with her and continues dating me, and then eventually I was like, this isn't going to work.
Yeah.
But the baby was due in July. And this is the baby is now 19. I'm still friends with the guy, but I haven't seen him in a while. But so I decided, you know what, I need to book a trip, and I'm going away for as long as possible. I'm going away for the whole month, in fact. The baby's due in July. Let's just take off on the
Yeah.
1st and not come back till August.
Yeah.
So I'd met a friend from Orange County in college in London, and two gay guys from Norway met us and we all flew to LA, and then we drove to Orange County where Kim lived. It's funny that I'm now living in Orange County, and that was the first place I went to when I arrived here in
wow.
2000. And then we drove up the coast route. I'm saying route now, I sound like a big yank. The coast route. The coast route. We went up the coast to San Francisco. We drove up and we had the best time. Oh my God, it was amazing. So that was
That's
the
great.
best month of my life. And it really did feel like a movie set. Like even when we pulled over to get gas, I'm like, oh my God, look at this gas station. It's just like a movie set.
Because it was like, yeah.
Oh my
I
God,
could
it's
see
just
it,
like you
yeah.
see in the movies. And like the cars are so big. I can't believe that car. Look at it. It's huge.
That's so funny.
I was just like this wide-eyed tourist, and people were laughing at me.
It makes sense though, because I think I've learned this by spending time with immigrants is that America's not just a country; it's a celebrity country.
Yeah.
And that, our cities, our
Oh my
roads,
God,
are
exactly.
famous roads.
Yeah.
They're famous cities.
Yeah.
The way our gas stations look are the ways that our movie scenes in our movies look, and those movies
Yeah.
made people feel human emotions
they
and
did,
things.
yeah. So
It's just a
they're-
powerful attachment
So
to those
true.
things.
That's what we're attached to, the emotions that the movies have created in
Yeah.
us, and we come to America to try and create that.
Yeah, that's why like conservative politicians who think war and missiles are going to keep us safe, they're wrong. It's not. It's great film.
Great
It's
film.
great TV. It's great
And
art
hugging.
and hugs and
Love
long
and
effing
hugs.
hugs.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
said effing. Should I have been saying effing?
No, I mix
No,
it up.
no, it's okay.
I mix it
Yeah.
up.
I'm
my
Irish.
mom
I've got
s-
Tourette's.
No, my mom drops f bombs all the
yeah,
time on
all
the
the
show.
time. Yeah.
Well, you've been great. I'm so excited for you because,
Oh,
like,
thank
even in the
you.
short time we've known each other, your comedy has gotten so great.
Oh,
Like,
thank
I'm
you.
such a fan, and it's so funny because you're like this cute Irish woman, petite Irish woman, and your sense of humor is so dark.
Thank you.
I
Oh,
love it.
I love the dark stuff, and I want to go darker. I do. I want to go darker with all that, but I think you kind of have to establish yourself a little bit. Like when I first started doing the dark stuff, people were like, "You can't say that. You can't. There's no way you can say that in this
Yeah.
room." And I let a lot of other people's opinions when I was just starting off in comedy out here get inside, and when you go on stage with a joke that you're like, "Oh, they're not going to like this," then it falls flat.
Yeah.
And
I
it's
agree.
funny. Like the first time I did.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Talking about intuition, that's a
God.
mystical thing too, where the entire room almost creates one collective personality where they can see things as a group that they'd never be able to notice as an individual. They can tell when we don't believe what we're saying.
Yeah, oh yeah.
As a
And well,
group.
and a good comic, you're good at this actually. You see the audience as one, it's a single unit.
Yeah.
Like you have to just work with the energy of the audience as one rather than, individuals, and it
Yeah.
works better. And you're good at keeping
thank
the
you.
energy up. You are. You're
Thanks
really
a lot.
good.
I appreciate
That's
that.
why you're such a good host as well.
Thanks, I appreciate that. There was a comic I used to know that was here a long time ago. I haven't seen him in years. It's always weird when you remember comics that you no longer see and you're like, oh wow, he quit. It's like being in war and going, oh no, he must have got shot.
Oh no.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But I remember
That's so
he
funny.
did this thing
I
that I
love that.
thought was so smart. He'd walk up on stage and go, how's it going, team?
Oh, I love
He
that.
called the audience team.
How's it going, team?
Yeah,
And it was
that's
this weird thing where he kind of
great.
like unified the
Yeah.
audience
Yes.
and made them feel like they were all like it was such an interesting little trick.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I
Yeah.
might steal that.
United.
Yeah.
That's
I think that's what the
great.
Pledge of
Yeah.
Allegiance does to
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel guilty when I complain. Because
Yeah.
for so long they made me stand up and I pledge like I was joining a cult.
Oh my God.
I
yeah.
pledge
Did you cross your
allegiance.
fingers behind your back?
I did.
think,
Every
yeah,
I had
would.
curly hair.
I
Everything was
would.
crossed.
Everything was crossed.
So listen, we have great listeners and they're comedy fans as well. So is there anything you want to promote or how can people find you so they can
Well, when is
follow
this
you?
going out? Because
Wednesday.
Yeah. a
oh,
couple
Wednesdays.
days.
So what do we got? Well, you and I are doing a show in Santa Monica.
That's right.
For CICLA, the Contemporary Irish Arts in LA. CICLA. It's called. A guy I know that runs galleries in London has come out and just brought loads of contemporary Irish art and artists
Amazing.
to LA for the summer. So we're doing some comedy, and you're actually going to be part of it because it didn't.
I'm
they,
so
you know, they didn't-
excited to be
They're all
the
about diversity
non-Irish.
as well. So they didn't just want to do Irish; they wanted to do Irish and American comedies. So you're going to be in the show. So
I
that's
love
going to
it.
be. That's July 12th at 7:30, and it's going to be an amazing night because there's also after the comedy, then there's Lords of the Strut, and they're like these comedy acrobats.
Oh, that's
So it's
so
going to be a great
cool.
night. So that's the 12th. We got that. What else? I'm doing a show, and this is going out on Wednesday. I'm doing a show tomorrow night, which is Tuesday. I'm doing a show on Saturday at the stand-up Jerry Corley's stand-up studio
Oh, cool.
in Burbank. And yeah, what else? I'm doing another Irish show on August 3rd in Santa Monica, and then I do my show at Throwing Punches, which you've also done as well.
I love that show. It's Simple Bar
Yeah,
in North
so
Hollywood.
It's the third Sunday of the month. I'm not sure what our
Cool.
date. I think it's the 21st of July and the 18th of August for that one. So yeah, there's
Great.
a lot of stuff.
Well, what are
coming
your
up.
social media handles? Where can people
Emma
find you?
M Pyne, M for Mary.
Emma M. Pyne.
Emma M Pyne and that's also Twitter and Instagram. But I rarely do Twitter.
on.
I'm not good at Twitter. But
Oh,
Instagram, you can find me. I've got a few followers on Instagram.
Cool. Great. Well, thank you so much for being a guest.
Thank
You've
you
been
so
amazing.
much. It's been awesome.
Yeah.
And
You're both
uh,
fabulous.
And congratulations on your 10-year anniversary coming
Thank you
up.
very much.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
And a big life moment coming up for you, being engaged and moving to Orange County and
Yeah.
and having your
Where
10-year
are you
anniversary.
moving,
That's
Orange
great.
County?
I've already moved. Yeah.
Where?
Yeah. Oh, Costa Mesa. Live in Costa Mesa.
Oh,
I
my
live in
mom lives in
Huntington.
Huntington.
You live there?
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys will have to come by
yeah.
for
Oh my
dinner
God,
sometime.
yeah.
Come visit.
Totally.
Yeah.
I'd love that.
Yeah, yeah.
So you drive up from Huntington?
Yes,
oh
of
my
course.
God. Wow.
Mom, do you have anything to say to the guests before we sign off on the first episode of season 2?
Good luck to her with the new engagement
Thank you.
and show here.
My mom is jealous.
No,
She-
I'm not
You should try it
jealous.
on.
No,
Make
she
a-
wa-
make a
no,
wish.
not of. No, she wants
it on
me to
and
get
make a wish.
engaged.
Oh my God!
She wants
no,
me
I
to get-
can
that's
see.
right.
Find
oh
the right
my
woman
God.
first.
Oh my
Exactly.
God,
That's
it
more
looks
important than the
great.
You're
ring.
right.
Yeah, it has to be the right one. So beautiful. Look
nice,
good in
isn't it?
your hand.
Thank you very much.
Don't remove it. Okay, okay.
Well, guys,
very
thanks so much for listening to another episode of They Tried to Bury Us. I am going to be performing a bunch of comedy over the next month before I head out to the UK. So if you want to come see live comedy, you can follow me at tamerkattan.com. On Instagram, I'm at Tamer Kat and at Tamer Kattan on Twitter. And you can also follow my mom on Instagram at...
Kity Kattan, Kittykattan.
That's great. You want to hear something funny, Mom?
Yeah.
You know Ismo, the Finnish comedian that I feature for on the road sometimes? His dog's name is Kitty.
Oh my God.
And it's spelled with one T.
Oh, I
One
love
T,
that.
like
Yeah.
me. So
Yeah.
Kitty, not Kitty.
It's a
funny.
sweet dog, though. He's amazing.
He's funny.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that accent as well.
Yeah, his
It's just-
accent's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah, that's good.
And guys, thanks so much for listening. We love you guys. Thank you for the reviews and for sharing the podcast and for telling your friends. We've got a lot of exciting things happening in season 2. Some guests that are going to be on from other countries and other cities, and a really exciting season 2. Thanks so much for.
Can I say one thing?
Go ahead, Ma.
Fast. You know, Carol, my neighbor, ex-neighbor, she
Yeah.
visited me this week, and she listened to your show, and she's said your voice so great, your interview. She loved to listen to you, and she's gonna start to listen to everything we have.
Oh, that's nice.
So I'm
well,
so
tell her I
proud of
said
that.
thank
Lots
you.
of
That's
fans.
really
Yes.
sweet.
Yeah,
and I'm a
big
listener as
compliment.
well. I'm a
And
listener.
that- thank
I
you,
love
Emma.
It, really.
That's
I listen
really
to lots
sweet.
of podcasts. I
Yeah,
love
yeah,
this
very
one.
nice.
Thanks,
yeah.
you guys.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right, guys.
Thank you so
Thanks
much.
again for listening. We'll see you next time.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.